Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fruhan Landman from Key Wealth, and today I am very excited to discuss Sirago's ultimate gap cover with you. And these are the prices for 2022. So let's dive right in. The price increases were small: 474 Rand for an individual and 536 Rand for a family if you're under the age of 64, and then 677 if you're over 65, and 776 if you're over 65 and in a family. Very important here. Remember to always take out your gap cover before, my apologies, before you turn 65. The reason is just then you will stay within this cheaper bracket here and you won't move over to the more expensive bracket at a later stage. So keep that in mind. It's a very nice thing if you take out gap cover before you turn 65 because it stays cheaper for the rest of your life. So the first and foremost important thing with gap cover is that the gap portion pays up to 500%, and this is situations where you go to in-hospital claims. And if I take an example, if you go for a procedure and the surgeon charges 9,000 Rand, and this is 300%, and your medical scheme pays 100%, and that comes down to 3,000 Rand. The difference of 6,000 Rand is what would be the gap portion. So that is essentially what gap cover covers, this portion here of 6,000 Rand. This option, the ultimate option with Sirago, also pays your co-payments. So what that means is if you've got any co-payments that you have to pay for your medical scheme, this can be for something like an MRI or an endoscopic procedure, that will be covered in full when it comes to your gap cover. So that is very nice. Just take note that if the co-payment is not a fixed amount but a percentage amount, it will only be paid up to 17,500 Rand. It's not that common with most medical schemes. It's fixed amounts for your co-payments. Next up is your penalty fee co-payment that's covered up to 13,000 for 3 claims per year. We use this, and this is a very important benefit. We use this where you make use of network hospitals on your medical scheme. So this can be like your Delta plans, Discovery, Delta Core, Discovery, Delta Saver, or your Beat 1 network, Beat 2 network with BestMed, or your MediHelp network options or Momentum associate range where you make use of a network hospital. There's a co-payment, a penalty fee that you've got to pay if you go to the wrong hospital. They call that a non-DSP hospital. A DSP is a designated service provider, and if you make use of a non-DSP or non-network hospital, then you are liable for that co-payment. So here's a money-saving tip for you for 2022. Things that you can consider is: one, if you're on a medical scheme that pays more than 100%, you can consider to downgrade, and then the money that you save, use that to get a gap cover which will cover you up to 500%. And also, if you can make use of any hospital on your medical scheme, then you can move to a network hospital and use the savings to get a gap cover. If you combine these two saving methods, you will be covered better than what you are covered with any hospital, and more than 100%, and you will probably save a bit of money as well. So just keep that in mind. Very, very good money saving tip for 2022. Day hospitals and clinics and surgical room procedures are covered in full, so that's very, very nice. All right, so the next very important benefit is PMB cover. What makes this so important is that there are a lot of gap covers on the market that does not pay for PMB cover, and that's usually why they are a lot cheaper than what Sirago is. So if you've got a gap cover but it's very cheap, that's a good thing to always go and check for. So PMB cover is very simple. We have claims that are covered under your PMBs, and this is covered at cost in full by your medical scheme. And then we have non-PMBs. So it's not a PMB. And this is covered up to the 500% of your gap cover. But your medical scheme may ask you to go to what we call a designated service provider. We just spoke about that. And if you don't, then they only cover your PMB procedures up to 100%. And if your gap cover excludes PMBs, then your gap cover does not pay for this portion of cover over here. And that means that you have to. So with Sirago, you know that you are covered in full, even if you use the wrong doctor. And why is this important? It's important because when you do not have the time to source the correct doctor, or when you are unconscious in a life-threatening situation, you do not have to worry about getting the right DSP. You can just go to any doctor. Any person can take you to any hospital, any doctor. You can claim your penalty fee for co-payments. If that's necessary, co-payments are paid, your PMBs are settled, and that's a fantastic benefit that takes a lot of stress off of your shoulders. So that's great. The next benefit is this hospital shortfall account, hospital account shortfall. So that's very nice. It's if there's any shortfall on the hospital bill, they cover that up to 2,000 Rand per claim, 6,000 Rand per year. One of the things that we cover, that we pay for the most on this, is the private rooms, if you upgrade to a private room. Then there's a sub-limit enhancer. This is a very important benefit. If you are a little bit older, or if you've got joint problems where you need to get a hip replacement or a joint replacement, if your medical scheme pays for it, but they do not pay enough for the prosthesis, you can claim up to 25,000 Rand per claim for the prosthesis, and that's very, very nice. And then another thing, in today's times, doctors do a lot of MRI scans and CT scans where they use those scans for diagnostic purposes. And what this benefit does is, if you are on a medical scheme option, like just taking some examples, like B2 that provides a little over 5,000 Rand for MRI scans out of hospital, then this 25,000 Rand will be used to fill that up until the full amount of your first scan is settled. And that is a great benefit for you as well, not to be out of pocket. Step down facilities are covered up to 11,000 Rand, so that's very, very nice. And then let's move on to out of hospital benefits. So this is by far one of my favorite benefits on a gap cover, and just because it provides such instant value in a case of an emergency. So for emergency rooms, you've got 12,000 Rand per year for accident, trauma, and illness. And it's divided into two categories. Your accident category is up to the full amount of 12,000 Rand. And this is for anything that I say always, it's blood and bones. If there's anything that happens where it's blood and bones, then you know that you are covered under this benefit. So not an easy thing to remember, but for you to know, just take note of it. Medical schemes work with ICD-10 codes, and as soon as that code starts with an S or a T, you know that you are covered under this benefit. Next up, we have the illness benefit, and that illness benefit is covered up to 2,000 Rand. So that's for anything like hyperventilating or an asthma attack or something like that, or a little bit of stress or panic or whatever it is that you go into an emergency room for, that's covered up to 2,000 Rand. And for children under the age of 9, in other words, from the day that they are born up to the age of 8, they can utilize the full 12,000 Rand for illnesses as well. Now, this is extremely important if you have little children, because you all know they get fevers in the middle of the night, and anything from diarrhea to high fevers to whatever it is that you worry about, you can take them. Whether your medical aid pays or does not pay, you know that this will be covered under this benefit. So fantastic benefit, and very nice to claim. Then there's preventative care. This is a stand benefit. It's got a sub-limit of 8,000 Rand. And a new benefit that they added on this is 500 Rand that's paid towards the cost of claims maximum twice per year for alternating treatments. And this would be stuff that your medical aid pays 1 year and then does not pay the next year. So it's things like a cholesterol test or a pap smear or something like that. So very nice enhancement to the benefit over there. Then in-room specialist consultations. If you go and see a specialist and the specialist charges more than the scheme rate, so let's say your specialist charges 1,500 Rand for a consultation at 200%, and your medical aid pays 750 Rand at 100%, then the shortfall of 750 Rand will be paid from this benefit. So that's very, very, very nice to get this paid, and then you are also not out of pocket. Just keep in mind here that it's limited to 4 claims per beneficiary per annum, 1,350 Rand per claim, 6,500 Rand per policy. Appliance benefits, 7,000 Rand. That's if there's an overcharge in appliances, not if your benefits run out. Trauma counseling is also a very nice benefit. I pray that nobody ever has to use it. The trauma counseling benefit is between 750 and 950 Rand per claim for 3 claims, and you use this with a diagnosis of severe illness, hijacking, or violent crimes. So when something really bad happens, you do have access to a psychologist. The primary care consultation benefit, this is very nice. You'll see here they make mention of dentists. This is if a dentist charges more than the scheme rate. We normally claim for it more under the GP benefit, and it works by the same way that if you see a GP and they normally charge 400 Rand for a consultation, and now they've charged 600 Rand, the difference you'll be able to charge from your gap cover. We normally see this if it's an after hours visit. So some GPs are open over the weekends or even late into the night, and then they charge a slightly higher rate if you go to them during those times. And then the big C. So cancer is a very real disease, and most of us know someone that was affected by this. There are several things that are covered here. The first thing is a cancer co-payment. The co-payment works with schemes like Discovery, where you have a 20% co-payment once you've reached your 200,000 Rand limit. And the next benefit is a cancer booster, and that is, for example, like schemes like GEMS, where you have a Rand amount. There's a limit on what you can claim. There's a Rand limit, and once you've exceeded that, your cancer booster benefit kicks in. So both of these will pay up to 183,000 Rand, the policy limit, and it is wonderful cover. Then the cancer breast reconstruction benefit. This is also a very nice benefit. It's a sad thing when women get diagnosed with breast cancer, and normally the oncologist would recommend a double mastectomy, and the medical schemes pay for the reconstruction of the cancer breast but not the healthy breast. And with Sirago, there's 25,000 Rand available for the ladies that do suffer from breast cancer, that had the mastectomy, to get the breast reconstruction done on the healthy breast. So that's a very, very valuable benefit. There is also initial diagnosis on cancer. Here we go. Initial diagnosis, where if you get diagnosed with cancer, there's a 25,000 Rand lump sum that pays out with a positive histology report. And then last but not least, there's a gap cover premium waiver and a medical scheme premium waiver, that if the policyholder dies or becomes permanently disabled, then you've got free gap cover for 12 months and medical aid for 6 months up to 5,000 Rand. And then there's also an enhanced Sirago baby benefit for 2022. In 2022, Sirago will also use Medcare for PMB dispute resolutions. So all of these benefits are very, very nice. And if you like this video, please share it with someone that might find value in it. And please reach out to us if you have any questions. You can contact us here, 051 88 00 111, or send an email to admin@kwealth.co.za. I'll write it over here. .za. All right, this is Fruan, and I hope that this added some nice value to you, and please like and subscribe to our channel.